Today we're talking about something different for me, which is this is an acoustic guitar. And it's a popular acoustic guitar, but I don't think it's nearly as popular as it should be. Hello, what's going on everybody? My name is Austin Randolph. A couple of things to get out of the way. Papa YouTube likes interaction with videos, so if you guys could like, share, subscribe, comment, mostly subscribe, to be honest with you. If you kind of like what I do, that goes a long way towards helping me. Somebody in the last couple videos had said something, had suggested that I get like a lav mic setup, which I did. The problem is I got it in the mail yesterday, opened it up, and there's no user manual. So give me another week to like figure out how to use the wireless mic setup, but I'm investing in myself. Look at me. And one more thing that's gonna seem goofy, but the last second to last video I did about the California series Strat, if you guys saw it, somebody asked what watch I was wearing that day, which I thought was kind of cool. So today, you can't really see it, I've got on my Omega Moon Swatch. So now let's talk about this thing. So what is this thing? I mean, honestly, so the day I bought this, I did not intend on buying this, to be totally honest. I've never owned an Ibanez guitar, period. Like any Ibanez guitar, let alone an acoustic Ibanez. I mean, you know, like most ignorant Americans or classic rock guys or whatever you wanna say it, when I think Ibanez, I think like super strats with the flat fretboards and the Floyd Rose, and I think about Steve Vai, basically. But my mission when I went into whatever guitar store it was that day was to find a smaller bodied acoustic guitar that I could just like keep by the couch, and that would be like where it lives, as like a couch guitar. I went in, I played every smaller bodied guitar they had in the acoustic room, and when I tell you this stood out like leaps and bounds above everything else, like, dude, this little thing blew my mind. So, I mean, just to go over some specs, I have Sweetwater's website pulled up, which, hey, I need to get used to saying this. I'm gonna put a Sweetwater link in the description of this video to this guitar. If you've been kind of in the market for one, or even just in the market for an acoustic guitar that's a little smaller, like not dreadnought or jumbo sized, link in the description, follow it, and that helps me out a lot too. So I'm, working with them now. But reading some specs from their website. So this guitar is not made out of spruce or maple, or mahogany, like normal acoustic guitars are. It's made out of a wood called okume. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. But it's all solid top, solid everything, but everything is okume. I've done zero research on what that is, but yeah, it's something different, I guess. Everything is satin. Neck is that like satin kind of open pore that you actually typically find on cheaper guitars. But I think, at least amongst guitar players that I've talked to, everybody kind of prefers it to like a thick lacquery feel on the neck, but very, very comfy. Like a C shape, a little smaller than what you'd find on like a traditional old school dreadnought, but a little flatter, a little more of like a modern C, which I don't actually mind on an acoustic guitar, weirdly enough. But here's where it gets interesting with the description. Thermo-aged bridge with a bone nut, bone saddle. And the difference that you're going to find with this and a lot of other acoustic guitars in its range, they really, really leaned into the open poreness and the aged top and the aged and all the aging has thermo in front of it when I'm reading through these descriptions. What I think that means, I could be totally off base here. I think that means they just heated it up. But look, man, whatever they did, this guitar sounds humongous. I mean, this is a grand concert body size, right? So to give you some context, here's my torso. I'm not a massive guy, but dude, it weighs nothing. And I don't even know where my old dreadnought is. But to kind of extrapolate on the open poreness and how big this guitar sounds, which is very much the purpose of it, I feel like everyone has at some point had a like old dreadnought made by maybe even not such a great company. Like in my basement, I think I have an Alvarez Dreadnought acoustic guitar from 1992 or 3 or something like that. They were cheap back then, they're cheap now. There's really nothing special about them, but it just sounds humongous and it sounds great. And everyone you talk to owns an old acoustic guitar that's been played a lot and sounds way better than it has any right to. That is what this is going after. And I have to be totally honest, man, how open and porous this wood is on the top, it resonates so well. So frankly, I don't give a shit if their thermo aging is they just baked some pieces of wood to open it up more. I don't care, because whatever they did worked tremendously. Making your way down from the top on your Ibanez AC340. I don't mind this headstock, weirdly enough. I know it's different than their headstock their acoustics used to have, I think in the early 2000s. I didn't really care for those. I think it's classy, I think it's minimal, but I think it's cool. And I actually, everything they do that's not a shreddy guitar is like an Artwood, like their semi-hollows, their acoustics. I like the little Artwood logo in there. Your tuners, nothing really special about them, but they seem to work great, so you'll find no complaints from me. You have binding on the whole neck. Frets are skinnier, but they feel good. You have binding on the body. Grain looks good, like I said. It's going to be hard to see unless I can get it in the sun. There you go. Look how porous that is. And I think that's the whole point of this thing, right? Got a tortoiseshell pick guard, but man, I'm not normally like a darker brown kind of acoustic guy, but I think maybe it's the tortoiseshell, maybe it's like the cream colored binding. I think this thing looks great. So just to kind of go down what's floating around in my noggin right now, what I would like to convey to you guys. What do they want for this? $329.99. That is so stupidly cheap for what this is. So this sounds better than plenty of bigger guitars. And like I said, if you like a more modern C shape, this is not super skinny. It's not super D like Ibanez-y. This honestly feels like the neck you'd find on like a Player Series Fender. It's just a good modern C. But combined with the smaller body, I mean, you can see how thin it's significantly smaller than a Dreadnought, which I really think is a good thing. I think plenty of people, when you go to buy an acoustic guitar, they just buy a Dreadnought because that's what there's the most of, and that's what's easiest to find. I don't think that shape is actually best for most people. I think for most people, something a little more like this is a lot more comfortable. A Dreadnought can be big, man. It's a big, bulky thing, and that unless you're a bluegrass guy that's been picking one since you were 6 years old, like, it can be chunky and kind of uncomfy to play. This body is so comfy. This neck is comfy. I mean, the hardware, the only hardware on it's the tuners. It's an acoustic guitar, obviously. They work great. There's no pickup that comes in it, which, if that's a make or break for you, I totally get it. But at least just, again, for what I bought it for, I need it to sound good. I want it to be smaller than a Dreadnought. It's by the couch, so I want it to look good because it's in my living room. But if I'm using it, I'm just kind of plucking on the couch, or I'm making this video and I'm just miking it up. So like in a studio context, that's, I've never really mic or plugged in acoustic guitars to begin with. It's small and comfortable. It sounds tremendous. I think it looks really cool. And I just can't get over the fact Ibanez Artwood AC340. It's $330. Like, especially with all the price hikes across the industry over the last couple of years, dude, $330 for an acoustic guitar that sounds this good and feels this good, it just doesn't. I'm not exaggerating. I probably played 12 guitars in that acoustic room. I think I was at a Guitar Center, which is weird because they never shop at Guitar Center, but a couple years ago, and that's where I got this. Out of the 12, this just leaps and bounds stood out among the rest. If you guys have been thinking about picking one up, even if you're just, like I said, kicking around the idea of a smaller bodied acoustic guitar, I cannot sing the praises of this thing enough. This has really just, even when I played it in the store, I just went, oh my God, like that, it sounds so big. And I love this little thing, man. So, if you're in the market, hopefully you guys will too. And be sure to use my Sweetwater link in the description of the video. $330. I don't think you're going to find a better, more comfortable little acoustic to have on. Yeah. And that's never a bad thing to have around. So that's all I got, guys. You know the deal. Like and subscribe if you like what I do. Follow me on TikTok. I just made an IG for like my reels that are basically just my TikTok, but who knows what's going to happen to TikTok in a few months. So that's all I got, guys. Let me know what you think. And if you own one of these, am I stupid or am I correct? Are these like way better than they should be? So that's all I got, guys. Thanks.